Hey, housewives!
Hey, housewives, welcome back.
Welcome back. This episode is really special because it's 100. Like
100 episodes.
100
That
episodes.
means 100 times we sat and recorded.
Yes. And yes, that's insane.
That's insane.
That is insane. And I think so so just so you know, there's a thing called pod fade. When people start podcasts, 75% don't make it past 10 episode.
10?
Yeah, past 10. And then there's like of that 25% left, I think another like 75% of that doesn't make it to 50 or 100. Like the numbers
That's crazy.
that I mean, because there are and the number of active podcasts, which means that they've released an episode within the last 3 months, like that number is actually dwindling. So the people that started episodes during COVID have now like
Passed
started
on, passed
passed
it
on,
on.
yeah, and are trailing off. So it's just like all that to say that yay us for persevering
Persevering is right because
and
there were many times that we both, on separate occasions, which is why this is like such a God thing that we're still doing it. Because I think the both of us
yeah,
held each other here, like kept each other here. Cause at one point, one was like, I'm frustrated, and not with the podcast, just with life in general and the weight of showing up, right?
yeah,
Like, but then the other one was like, nah, we got to keep doing it. I'm not ready to shut the door. Like, I don't feel like God's, called us to do that yet. And here we are. Like, and I think one of the coolest things about 100 episodes is reflection,
yeah.
celebration, reflection, just like looking back how far we've come, how far we've grown, just the silly things that we've done along the way, stupid things we've done along the
Yes.
way, and growth, growth.
Including today. We've done some stupid stuff today
No, we
too.
did it.
Yes,
No one knows.
come back, guys. I'll tell you guys later. No, but you're right on the reflection thing because I don't think that if we weren't celebrating this milestone of an episode, I don't think we would have come to the same conclude
No, not at
like
all.
and I don't think we would have sat down and reflected anything because we just would have kept going. And the feedback that we've gotten from you guys, you loyal listeners about what you want more of or the
Mhm.
questions that you have really did make us sit and think and go, oh, it has changed
Yeah.
from the beginning and where we're at. And
Which I think, I mean, you and I both listen to a lot of podcasts. So,
yes.
I mean, it is normal what I see and hear from all these other podcasters,
Yeah.
like eh, you grow and you change and you talk about different topics. But I think one of the coolest things we just came up with, like, hey, we really got to highlight the 100th episode probably like a month ago. And
Yeah.
we've continued with our guests and things. We're like, how perfect that this 100th episode is at the end of a year and we can reflect on the year and yada, yada, yada. And then we, put it out on social, like, hey, like, ask us anything. Like, we just thought we'd do like a fun, ask us anything episode for this. And then what we really got was like some real heartfelt, incredible responses of like, hey, like, love this guest or love that guest, but here's what I would love to know more about from you guys. And we're like, oh, we don't talk about that.
Yeah, and we talked about how, like, having guests on were certainly for selfish reasons because they were people that we wanted to talk to
Yeah.
and have those conversations with,
Hmm.
but and there is some homework and some, like, prep that goes with it, but there's not as much prep for that necessarily as when we do an episode just ourselves
Right.
and talking through and brainstorming and going, "Okay, so we talk a lot on here and we're fairly open, on some stuff, but some stuff we do keep private because this is for the whole world. This is not
And
just
it doesn't go away.
right. Once it's on social media or on the
Internet.
internet, it never disappears.
No.
So you have no idea who screenshot, recorded, or
Hopefully not that face I just did.
I'm gonna screenshot that one for you. I'm gonna make that the profile when you call me.
Oh, well, celebrate.
Hey, yeah, I was gonna say,
So every year we have popped a bottle of champagne and celebrated 10 episodes. We did 10,000 or 10,000
Down. Yeah.
downloads.
Yeah.
You know, we've done 2 years we celebrated, and we've passed 3 years at the beginning of this month, and now we're
Well, we passed 3 years recording. We didn't because we recorded and then we waited 3 weeks to release. So, like December 7th, I think, is actually our anniversary.
which this will be out after.
Yeah,
So
but we're
just
happy
that.
anniversary. So,
Happy
there you go.
anniversary.
So,
So, I am still going to pop a little,
bubbly.
bubbly if I can open it, because I
Yeah.
got the single one because I really don't, don't need to have
She's
a
gotta
whole
drive
bottle
home
of
after
champagne by
that.
myself. However, Tori has a
Yeah,
non-alcoholic champagne,
I do.
and she is on almost 1 year of
1
being
year, you
sober.
guys, 1 year. I'm
Gonna
at, like,
use my teeth.
yeah, go for it. Um, we so that is an incredible story. So I'm gonna
Yes.
hold on, I'm twisting my knuff. Oh, you hear that? Lovely,
Yep.
y'all.
I can't there's so many wrappings.
I
I
like
should have done this
mine was
beforehand.
mine was clearly not childproof. Tracy's is Tracy's proof. As
I'm
I
really glad you didn't call me a child. You just said it's Tracy's proof.
yes, yes. So one, um,
Hold.
okay,
Hold
no, no, there was no,
There was no
there was more on the non-alcoholic
Yes, that was
than yours.
more,
Okay, would you pour yours already? Then I feel like
I
you're fine.
am
Actually
taking
just
a
drink
lot.
it out of the bottle. That's just
No, I
Right.
gotta keep it classy.
Keep it classy with some kind of, and we'll cheers. But Tracy's right. I haven't posted anything about it on social. And
Or shared
or
really much on here other than like, "Hey, I'm sober."
yeah, which is a fun story. Here, let's cheers.
Cheers. Cheers, everybody. Yay, housewives.
Yay! Cheers
100
to
episodes.
100.
We're here.
We're here.
And I'm so happy that we're doing this.
I know it's crazy. Okay. So the story with with the being choosing not to drink. So, one of the episodes that we brought to you guys was the episode of the Tan family and their daughters, Sydney, who received a transplant from her kidney transplant from her mom, and then the need of Olena needing a kidney transplant. And as of right now, to give you guys an update, Olena is she's going to need a transplant in January or February. And right now, dad is the donor. However, if they can find a perfect match, they would, they really want to. So, he, for medical reasons and the fact that both parents would have done a transplant, they prefer it not to be dad. But so if it's still, I don't know if God's still tugging on somebody's heart to be, to just go to a hospital and see if you can be matched. It is still, they are still looking for one, but right now, dad will be the donor as of right now. But all that to say is, in January, God put it on my heart to get tested, and God put it on my heart to just respond or just say, "Hey, what does it take?" And so I actually went through all the testing to see if I was a match for Alina. And I it was way easier than I thought. But when I was going through the testing, because you fill out a questionnaire first, and then you take your blood pressure for 5 days, then you go get lab work done, and then you might need more lab work done and all that. I decided during that time I was going to stop drinking. And so that was January 18th of 2024. And today is, beginning of December, and I still haven't drank.
It's
I
not to say she hasn't wanted to.
Correct. I have been. That could be an episode all on its
Yeah.
own.
My
How many?
favorite texts are, "Tracy, give me encouragement so that I don't drink tonight." And then I'm always like, "Stay sober, stay strong.
Yeah.
You got this."
As she's drinking her glass of wine, because, but yeah, so it was one of those kinds of things that God just put on my heart, and so I through the testing, and it was like 4 months over time, and then I was like, I'm gonna just not. I'm not going to start again. I feel better. it's something I was kind of using, like, we can use as a crutch
Yeah.
very much. We use it to numb out, we use it to chill, or we use it as an excuse. Um, I w
That's more than alcohol, that's social media, that's all kinds of other things. It's
Right,
eating, it's binge eating, it's there's so
there's
much.
so much we use, and so I actually got an app that I like, and it has a reminder on it, and it's like, "Why am I doing this?" And for me, the reminder is that I don't want to go to something else before God when I'm stressed or when I'm
Mhm.
and because I wanted to get my peace from God and not just check out and mark a
Me.
box
Yeah.
when I was going through something. Because you know how much, like, I like to feel things.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
not at all.
Yeah, I don't like to feel things, so alcohol would help not make me not feel things. So, yeah, so that was
It
kind
was
of
such a crazy beginning of the year, honestly. I mean, from a friend who is supporting, a friend who was just literally listening to God and, jumping into, try to be a donor. There was a lot of questions, there was a lot of challenges, there was a lot of hard conversations.
yeah,
But ultimately, it was just, prayer. And the result was that you were not a perfect match.
correct. So, I am not a perfect match. I could potentially be a paired donor. However, the numbers of when the last time I did they looked at my kidney evaluation, there is a specific number that was it within the line of error, but they didn't like it.
Mm.
So,
And it was going to require additional testing.
additional testing going the one specific lab that has it, and I would have to travel there and get that done, and then to see if that would be and God still hasn't completely removed anything from my heart, but when you know, to talk it's not like this is not just like, "Oh, hey, I'm gonna donate,
Yeah.
some a pair of boots." This is like this would be major surgery. It would so I had conversations with my family about it. Of course, my first and foremost fear, is what about my girls?
Mhm.
And if something were to happen to them and if I weren't able to get, here coming New Year. But it was amazing how God took that fear away from me and gave me such a peace from the get-go.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it it was insane, like, how at peace I was about that because he immediately gave me this, like, "I have always provided for you. Why would I not provide for you then?"
Mhm.
You can't outgive God, and I so that was never it was a fear, but I always that thank God he gave me such a peace about all that because I don't think I would have made it past filling out a survey
Yeah.
if there were any questions. And sometimes when God gives you peace, he doesn't necessarily give everyone around you peace
Yep.
at the
It's
same
true.
time.
Yep.
One of my favorite things is, sometimes our calling is not a conference call.
Yeah.
And that's really annoying
Mhm.
when you're like, "Hey, God, can I put you on speaker so the people around me can hear you say this to me? Because that
Yeah,
would be"
right.
and so you have to have tough conversations and
Mhm.
you get put in awkward situations. And yeah, so God is just, again, we continue to pray for Alina, and I'm going to just continue to see where God takes me on that. I think, I could wake up tomorrow and God say, "Here, here's a plane ticket. You're going."
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So I'm not closing the door completely. Sorry, family.
Yeah.
I'm gonna listen to God's God's direction on that.
Yeah.
But so we'll put in the show notes too
Mhm.
the TAN's contact information. So if God is pulling at your heartstrings to just get tested and just, fill out a questionnaire, you don't know
Mhm.
that you can do that.
Yeah.
But that wasn't
Well,
our
hold on.
only
Cheers to you, because that
oh,
was a really big decision and
oh,
something that, like, I know you struggled with, I know the family struggled with, but it's also brought so much goodness to you too. God obviously
yeah.
has you've been sober for a year now, almost a year. That was not something that was a need. Like, it
Right.
really wasn't.
No.
You weren't I mean, you turned it down way more than I do. But all in all, I think it's been awesome to watch you do this. So I'm proud
Well,
of you.
thank you. Thank you. And I have a dry, haha,
Yeah.
dry
Yep.
prosecco.
And I found it for her.
She
So I
did.
supported her and her.
Yes, and I have to say that okay, so 2 quick stories about it. One is so something else I've gotten myself into, um, that's the wrong way to say it.
Yeah.
Something God has gotten me into, let me put it that way. A door that he opened is a program called the Eisenhower series for women, and so that has recently just started, and one of the toughest times
Yeah.
okay, this was crazy. Um, the first session we had, I got to meet all these women, and it's like 20 of us, but I got to meet Eisenhower's great youngest
Who's
granddaughter.
Eisenhower?
Eisenhower was our president.
I know. I was just
Thank you.
making you say it because
Okay.
you just said his name. Like you
Sorry.
should say it was
The president,
President Eisenhower's
President Eisenhower
granddaughter.
granddaughter,
Yeah.
his youngest granddaughter,
Yeah.
Mary Jean. And she came and talked to us and told us these personal stories about like things that, growing up in the White House when she was visiting, our granddad and things, and it was just darling. But one of the things that she also talked about was her grandmother would always loved Four Roses bourbon and would do old fashions. And they had a bottle of Four Roses bourbon. And so everybody took a shot, like cheers with Mary G.
Mhm.
And I was like, no, but
You did it.
I
It
did it. I
didn't
did it
matter.
and it
It's
didn't
okay.
matter.
Yes.
And then also I'll say too, the other thing that hit me real hard, honestly, was our last was it
It was your
it was
birthday.
my birthday.
Yeah.
It was my birthday. We were celebrating my birthday with our Bible study crew, and, Trace brought these Prosecco,
We
and
like to have mimosas for birthdays.
we
We
d
do like there's
yes.
6 of us and we have brunch and mimosas and celebrate birthdays and, just intentional. And
Yes,
we have for years done this. And
exactly.
this was her birthday. And
And she brought and I normally, when we do, I will bring my non-alcoholic beer because I it's weird. It makes people feel weird when you're not drinking
yeah.
or around them, like, with them, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Um,
It doesn't, yeah, that is, I get it.
it's yeah, but anyways, so she bought me and it like, honestly, is the most touching thing, and it made me cry because I was just like,
Tori cried.
I know, y'all, because I was like, it was the first time that somebody had thought of me, like, "I had this for you." Like,
Yeah.
it was, not like "It's okay, I brought my NA," but, and I was just that was really sweet, and I'm gonna tear up thinking about it again.
Yeah.
So thank you for that.
Okay. Well, let's switch gears.
Mhm.
And it's not even really switching gears, but we have reflected so much in the last week and more so in the last 48 hours
For sure.
getting to this point because we're talking about how we started, what the podcast looked like in the beginning, who our audience was, has it changed much, and just asking ourselves a lot of questions like, okay, let's look at the 100 episodes and what worked, what didn't, what were our challenges, what were our victories, all those things. And then, like, where do we want to go for the next 100? Like, that's exciting to think about, but also, like, we have to look back and see what worked and what didn't.
Yeah.
And I think you kind of already talked about it. We've had some incredible guests on here. A lot have been specific to our needs and what we want. Other things just we know that our friends are dealing with are, just a
Or doors opened.
yeah,
I mean,
just exactly.
like, holy cow, how did we get Mark and Jill Savage on here?
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
that
that was from 10 years ago, door open for me, when I
exa
first met her. And then Ken Valentine and you meeting
yes,
his
and
like
the
partner
author.
on the
Yes, Secret
airplane.
Service
Like,
agent.
yeah,
Yes,
there's
and Seth, who I had followed,
yes.
like
And then he lives in Kansas
and
now,
now I live in
So
yes,
there's
it's
so
insane.
much that like this is why and how we know that like God is in this because he just keeps opening doors. And it's so funny because we need to do more like thinking of more of those things. Like even my husband, he was at a one of his things for his bank the other night and just text me. He's like, "Oh my gosh, you got to have this person on your podcast." Like he was talking to someone else and it was just like totally what, we would love to have. So that brings us to just like, hey, we're going to be open with our listeners because some of the feedback that we got is just in their reflection was like, hey, we want more of just the two of you. And we're like, wait, you do? Like, why?
Yeah.
Like, just us? Why? When in the beginning, all it was us. And it was
Yeah.
stuff that we were going through, and it was COVID, and it was motherhood and marriage. I mean, these are the things that
It
we
was
talk about
day-to-day stuff.
day to day and just hardships. And I think there's this weird shift that just happened over the last 3 years. And I don't even want to say weird, it's just natural growth. When you think about where your life takes you, and this is my wise 40-some-year-old person talking, she doesn't know anything about this yet. I
I
really
just
joked a lot about
Yeah,
age
I
on
had
here.
yes, we do. We do, and it's fine. I'm the baby. It's
Yesterday's
okay.
moment was when we were talking about, an app that we got that my daughter's obsessed with, um, Huji, it's Huji.
Oh, yeah.
It's this, like, old like, a digital kind of, like, old photo thing, and I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
this says 1998 on it," so I was taking pictures of my daughter, and I think it's so awesome. That was the year I graduated high school, and she just busts out laughing. I'm
I
like, "What were you, 12?"
Yes, I was 12.
It's fine.
1998? Yes, I was 12.
Yeah, mhm.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah.
anyway, just saying that, like, how far we've grown in the things that we've done since then till now. We've had this, like, natural progression of life of, like, okay, well, my husband bought a business, you and your family invested in a business that you run. Like,
Yeah.
it is one of those things that so much has changed. I now have 2 full-blown teenagers, a preteen, and I mean, if you call 10 a preteen, we're calling it that because I feel like I have a house full of
Dude,
teenagers
I
because
feel
everybody acts the same, raging attitudes. Um, I mean, my kids are so joyful and loving all the time.
oh, they're so
Okay.
wonderful. Okay.
Anyway, we've just had this weird progression where we started having guests because we wanted more and we want to provide you more. And then it just turned into just guests.
Yeah.
We literally don't know how that happened. We loved all of them, love them. We, plan on still having some incredible people on in the future. But I think we're gonna just really, you know, jump in January,
Yeah.
bring in the realness,
Again.
going back to some more authentic Tracy, Tori life.
Yeah. Because not that we don't get to talk about that with the guests. I mean, you get slivers of it with the guest,
Yeah.
and in certain and I think too, like this season, because women are all about seasons, that we
You're not talking podcast season, you're just talking about season of motherhood?
season, yes,
Okay.
I'm in the or era, right? Thank
Oh,
you, Taylor.
whatever.
I know. We can say that as Kansas Cityans.
Yes, sorry, we see a lot
Of
about
her.
Taylor around here,
Yes. I
but
just love Travis. Yeah. Sorry. Just good. It's good. You can love Travis. It's
I
fine.
do. Mhm. He's on
Um,
my fantasy team.
oh, I'm really glad you finished that with team.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So we want to bring you more of that
Mm.
because COVID is I'm gonna say it's not a thing anymore. It's not a thing anymore. And
But
so
it is, this is the weird
no,
thing.
but I'll say
It's the trauma from it still is resurfacing, like,
I don't
not
know.
from
I think
us, just
not
in the world.
in the world, but I mean, they literally came out on the news, I was like 2 days ago and came out with a report and said, "Hey, so this is the subcommittee and this is what we found out. It actually was a leak from the Wuhan lab, and it actually they were testing, something gains or whatever from it, and oh, yeah, and the rate of death was actually less than is like 1% instead of like the 5% that we kept saying everywhere. And so go look at the report. It's
It's
incredible.
out there.
It's out there. But
Um,
it's but we're I think after this election, there is this deep sigh of like a deep breath. It's a deep breath.
yeah,
And people are like, okay,
yeah.
we feel just a little bit lighter. We feel a little bit
Mhm.
like stronger. We feel a little bit. And so I feel like people are going, okay, I don't have to worry that the world is ending like,
Yet.
yet.
Yeah. Well, and I wanna go back and say, because I said, I actually said on here, "We went just a more Tracy and Tori episode." Okay, mind you, we know this is not about us. I have to preface that because we were even saying it yesterday. It's like so many women, and if you're a housewife and you're here, like, you get it. Like, there is so much you walk through that you feel alone in, and we are prime examples of that. We're just 2 people who aren't afraid to talk about it. And so we are here being, vessels to just share that news, share the, "Hey, you are not alone," and to share the good news of Jesus. Like, this is
Amen.
life, and this is what we wanna talk about. So, we wanna do some more authentic, messages. We wanna talk more about the struggles that we have in our worlds and how everything points back to Jesus and how we are praying and walking with him or even battling our own demons,
Yeah,
and the struggles that we're dealing with. I think the guests allowed us to hide that a little.
I think
And
so.
not that we're hiding it from y'all.
No,
Um,
well, it got it we were content.
yeah.
It allowed us to get into a comfortable space.
Mhm.
And I mean, to be honest, being comfortable is easy.
Yeah.
It's the uncomfortable. And we've talked about, I've talked about that the last year. I've tried to encourage others to be like, you're not the only one that feels that way. So wear it on your sleeve. Like,
Mhm.
I've done that with multiple things and they're like, wow, good for you. You're brave for wearing that. I'm like, no, do you know how many, nobody says anything negative about this. Like everybody agrees with me, but
Yeah.
they're not saying, I'm just saying the quiet part out loud.
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that. I wore a shirt, we went to San Diego with our daughter. We took her on a special trip here just about a month ago, and I wore a shirt that just says gratitude, 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 gratitude. I mean, it is literally a black shirt with white gratitude all the way across it. And I had a guy walking through the airport. It was his wife and a couple kids, and he was like, "Hey, I love your shirt. Thanks for the reminder."
Oh,
And I know. And I was like, "Aw," and the only reason I wore it is I bought, a couple outfits for my daughter for her trip, and I bought her a sweatshirt that just says gratitude, and we both wore them on the way to the
oh,
airport because we're very grateful for the time that we got to have in that special trip,
yeah.
and, like, that was the intention with it, but what it led to, I just thought that was so cool. I'm like, "He's gonna take that," like, maybe I don't know, maybe they were running late for their flight or maybe they were stressed out at home or I don't even know.
Yeah. You have
But it was
no idea
just
what he
a
was going through.
message that was like, "Hey, you're not alone."
Yeah.
Like, I loved that little moment.
And that's the cool thing, like, I love these stories that we're privy to, and when we get to see the other side, because
Mhm.
so many times we don't.
Yeah.
We won't ever know on this side of heaven
Yep.
what why God led us to do something. Henry, one of my big things as of late is our job is obedience. That's it. That's
Right.
it. Our job is to obey and to be obedient in what God called us to do. And the results are his.
Yeah.
Period. End of discussion. He very well may be calling me to a season of like, I'm calling you to do this because you need to fail at it
Yeah.
for some purpose, for some reason, but not every obedient action results with quote unquote success.
Yeah.
And that's biblical success versus worldly success.
Mhm.
Success looks like, yay, we're
Well, and
making money
I
and
was
yeah,
just gonna say, can we define what people think is success?
yeah.
Like, it's you don't know how many times listeners, like, hear this. How many times we get people ask us, "Are we making money doing this?"
Yeah.
Like, because that's the only way that our podcast is successful is if we're making bank.
Right.
Like, sure, we would like to, a little. I mean, that'd be nice
Could
for the time.
could we Lord, if you guys could just help us pray that we break even,
That would be great.
that would be great.
Um,
But we've said that from the beginning too, that this
yes,
is always a labor of love.
right.
Yes, while it is there, this costs when we say yes to the podcast, this costs us, yes, financially on things that we invest in to do this,
Mhm.
but it also costs us our time.
Yeah.
And there are other things where because we say yes to the podcast, we say no to other things.
Mhm.
And God is continuing to let us know that, no, you've set this time aside. I can't tell you how many, there are so many functions that I could be at on Tuesdays and Thursdays that would help our print business, our print shop. But we set aside Tuesdays and Thursday for
Yeah.
podcast days. And there's times that we can make it work and make it, and I can do some of those things. But like, God is like, no, this is not where, and I'm like, and that's different.
Yeah.
That's different.
It just from like a personal standpoint too, like my we could talk a whole story about the last year that I've had with my son who's had multiple broken bones. That's a whole nother episode to talk about my all of my son's broken bones. But there was a lot this fall that even led to after he got hurt and then PT. I had to schedule PT and of course the only availability was Tuesdays and Thursdays. And again, it was only 6 weeks and he's about to ring the bell this next week. Woohoo! But it's been a thing and it's been a challenge. Like
Yeah.
there's challenges in that there is challenges in, our travel schedules. Like, can we
Yeah.
talk about that? Like, I'll be gone a week in September. She'll be out gone a week in September. And then before you know it, like the only thing that was available was 4 days. We're
Right.
like,
Yeah.
okay, so
So yeah, so September was a hard month. Like, and then two, our family schedules,
mhm,
and we do this during the day while the kids are at school, and then while our husbands are at work. So because it's actually quiet, because my house is not going to be quiet, but then and if there were other people here. Let's put it that way. So, and I wish y'all could one of these days I will just show you like how cute our background and everything looks. And then it is a hot freaking mess on the other
we
side
really
of this
need to do
camera.
one of those time
Reels.
lapse or
Oh,
whatever,
yeah.
where it's like just set watching us set it up because this
Yeah.
transforms into her like it's not dining room, but it's her old dining
Yes.
room, sitting room.
Yes.
But then Tuesdays and Thursdays or whenever we record, we transform it into our studio.
Correct. And then depending on when we're going to record again, I will take it all down and just, and move everything back. And yes. So it's interesting. All that to say is that God has continued to show us that this podcast is where he wants us to continue it.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and
thank you to the loyal listeners and those that pop in every now and then for giving us feedback because we love doing it. We know we're called here for now. We want to keep going, but we want to hear also what you're taking away from it too.
yeah,
And I think that is, where we want to get a little bit more personal with you all through this because in our first season, we were hearing more things from you of like, oh my gosh, that was so good. I tried this with my kid or I did that. And then we don't like you may be doing that from the guests, the ones that we have on about how to co-parent if you're, going through a divorce or healing from narcissistic abuse or like,
yeah,
just different things that we've had on. Like maybe you are taking those away, but you're not necessarily coming back to us with it because it's a personal thing for you. And it was just the guest that was speaking. Whereas if we are getting more personal with you guys, hopefully you'll feel more comfortable coming and saying to us, like, hey, I loved that. Or even like, oh my gosh, that hurt. Like, whatever. Like we
yeah.
want to hear it because we do this for the glory of God,
Amen.
and in the hopes that you're encouraged.
Yep. And it all goes back to you are not alone.
Mm.
We started that with, I mean, that as our mission.
Yeah.
And because we felt so alone and we wanted to know that these are the conversations that people are having behind closed doors.
Mhm.
And, it's me texting Tracy and going, oh my gosh, are club sports really this time consuming? And do I really want to do, like, what is this? Like, and her going, yep. And it's the text messages. Oh my gosh, the text messages last night. I love
Which one?
my bail money text
Oh,
message
yes, yes,
thread.
that was good.
I texted him like 3 pictures because I have a business gala tonight, and I said, "Okay, which one?" And they give me their opinions, And I said, okay, I think I'm going to go with this black and white one because then I don't have to worry about my boobs. And then I got my people that are like, oh, good, because I was worried about a nip slip on the stage. And then my other friend chimes in and says, dinner and a show. And then I just like, great. Now I'm going to be having nightmares that I'm going to be on stage and that's going to happen. And then the other friend
But you
chimes,
won't have to if you wear the black and white dress.
right. So it's just why I'm wearing like a white dress now, no matter what. But it's just these. And a friend made the comment and she goes, oh my God, I love this text so much. And I was like, yes, because this is real. Like,
Yeah.
this is, there are these people that are going to say that to you. And,
Mhm.
like you need those people in your life. And if you don't have those people in your circle, personal or a who that's in a text message thread, like we want to be those people for you. We want to be the ones
Oh,
that
yeah.
will say, "Hey, think about this before you do it because I did this accident." Think we want to be your bail money thread, like because that's
I
like
don't. I don't have the money for that.
no, and I don't either. I slowly am stocking away because it's just a matter of time. And so I've told them I'll let them know where the cash is, and that most likely because they know me, one of them will be in there with me. So I was like, it's
It's
gonna be good that you guys
probably
all
gonna
know
be
each
me.
other. So yeah, because you are the most local.
Mhm.
You're the closest.
Mhm.
So
I'm not the most troublemaker though.
no,
That's not
no,
me.
I will. There's two in particular that I'm thinking of, and I'm going to make sure y'all listen to this part and
Yes.
be like, those are you two. So, but yeah, that's what we want.
Yeah, we want more real, more authentic, more personal. I mean, that's what we want in our lives, and I think that we have to create that.
Right. Because nobody's, and I think too, I think for us now with we personally not being on social media
Oh, yeah.
and sharing those personal things on social media, I think that this is going to be to encourage others that to have that authentic
Yeah.
and that relationship. You don't have to be sharing it on social media because that's fake anyways.
Mhm.
Because you and I have more authentic relationships now, I think, since we've set most social media aside because we're not giving energy to it.
Mhm.
And I can be more real in person with like my friends and things like that because I don't know, I'm just not thinking social like, oh, I've got to post this or
Yeah,
oh, I need to take a picture of this or
totally.
like
I
that's
I mean,
something.
I love that. That's what's given me so much more present peace back, and I'm so much more
Because it's been how long since you've been off? For
June 1st.
June 1st.
Yeah,
Okay.
and it's so funny because I was gonna do a Christmas card this year, and, this last week, I'm like, "I'm not doing it," and I don't think I did one last year. I do them every now and then. And then I got 2 this week, and I was like, "Oh, I haven't talked to them in so long." And I was like, "Boom, there it is." It's because I'm not on social media. I miss some of these people, and I'm like, "Okay, I cut my list down big time this year because I
So
used
if
to
you don't get a Christmas card from Tracy, I
please
just
don't be offended.
it's
Costs
because
a lot of
stamps are
money.
so yeah, stamps are so expensive now.
But it's
Now.
also, to be honest, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, social media was a touch point for a lot of people. I've moved, from home. I moved away from home. I traveled the country after college for my job
Yeah.
for a year. So I have connections through all that, which those are the people that I stayed in touch with on social media that I haven't
Yeah.
talked to since. I had Chicago friends. And there's just so many different things from church there and just different people where I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm not connected
Yeah.
with them on social media. So I want to send them a Christmas card and just say, hey. And I think I did a little snippet on the back of the card of just like, what the heck this year's been up to and saying, like, hey, I went off social media so that it's like, wait, where did she go? Because it's funny enough, ran into somebody a couple weeks ago. And they're like, oh, I haven't seen a lot from you. I'm sure you've been busy. And I'm like, no, no, I'm like off. Like
Like gone.
gone. Other than unlikely, we share stuff on there, but I'm not
Yeah.
on it. I use MetaSuite. So it's like, I don't know, it's just weird.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, that's a good point because I'm working on our Christmas cards now. And I think the idea of doing a little bit snippets of each of us and then saying like this is what what we've been doing as a family, but also saying that, like, you can't, like, while we're not on your wild Tories, because people who do follow our like,
Yeah.
who are family, friends, or,
That don't live here.
that don't live nearby, or you don't see them, they're the one phone call every 6 months kind of
Yeah.
family, and you're like, and again, when people are out of, quote, unquote, "the algorithm," like, you do forget on who, or so when somebody texts you, you're like, "Oh my god, I'm so glad I heard from you." You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Those things,
Well,
and
that's happening now. Like I mean, this is what I do. I just text people, say, "Hey, I haven't talked to you in forever. Let's get a call on the books," you know? And I set phone dates now. And it's usually I schedule them while I'm driving because I do a lot of driving,
oh, yeah.
or it's, "Hey, I'm having coffee at this time and I'm doing my dishes or folding my laundry." I'm multitasking. I mean, but
Yeah.
that is what I'm doing to connect with people, and it's so much more real, and it feels so good to, like, hear people and talk to people versus just, a post
Yeah.
or a
Right.
snippet.
Well, and I think the landscaping is changing to
Yeah.
where I feel like, even as owning a business,
Mhm.
like, I don't have to promote my business on social media. Not saying that it wouldn't help me, but it's not a platform that I have to. I mean, I can have a presence there. Sure, I might get a couple of, clients and stuff like that, but it's given me such a I go to networking events. I probably go
Yeah.
to 2 to 3 networking events a week, and I'm building relationship with people versus trying to get influence others to click on a link and
Right.
to
Yeah.
just go to my website to do this, or oh, I want to use you. Like, there's so much business wise. It's not the same anymore.
Yeah.
It's running a business on social media is, or if social media is the only way that you're conducting a business, it's just not the same. And I think and so I've learned that, I think, too, and
Yeah.
reminded myself that it's not all all on social media. Like, there is world outside of social media.
Yeah. I think that's gonna be a big one for next year for us,
Yeah.
starting 2025.
Yeah.
Without it, well, obviously,
Personally,
personally, yeah.
but
That's,
we're
like,
gonna
hard
come
because 'cause
on,
we're still sharing on our
which we are, which she's not gonna have it on her phone. I have it on my phone. But so we're gonna try to do some stories more that are, just in the life, because those are just little things. Because, I'll share my dog park walks. I've missed sharing those with people and going on my little diatribes. Is diatribes the right word? I don't know.
I don't know.
I'll have to look that up. Look at me trying to use vocab.
Well,
But here we are.
yeah.
So
Cheers to 100 years.
you did it. Cheers to 100 years. Oh, good Lord.
Cheers to 100 episodes.
Cheers to 100 episodes. May we not live 100 years.
Exactly.
Nobody wants to live 100. Nobody wants to live to
No,
be 100 until they're 99.
that's true. Oh, I like that. Did you make that up?
And I've used it for a while,
Oh,
but nobody. I don't want to be 100. I don't want to live to be 100.
no,
Is that something that is that a life goal for you?
no,
No.
no. Let's just make it 100 more episodes
100 more episodes. Let's start
and then
there.
start there and
Yeah.
let's see where we're gonna go.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll be 40 by then.
I'm never turning 40.
Oh, it's
because
coming.
because when I turn 40, oh, what? That'll mean you're getting closer to 50.
Shut up. Shut
Ah.
up. I
Okay.
shouldn't use that word.
It's all right. It's fine. We still love you.
Oh, housewives, thank you for being with us for 100 episodes.
Yes, thank you so much.
And
It
to
is.
100 more.
Yep. Here's to 100 more. Cheers.
Cheers. Until next time, housewives.
Until next time.
Bye.
Bye.